everyone. So yes, I know I look very scary, but I started out, I should say, by blocking out my eyebrows because Morticia has very, very high lifted arches, which I don't have. So I am going more on the Angelica Houston version of Morticia Addams. I remember being young, being very young, and watching the Addams Family and being blown away by her. I thought that she was stunning. And I was fascinated by her, and I've remained fascinated throughout my life with her. So I have to do her makeup when I get the chance to. Now Morticia, of course, is very, very pale. So I am going to go with a little bit of a lighter foundation. I'm not bothering with primer because I'm going to wash this off when I'm done, so I don't need it to last. But of course, if you need to wear a primer, you know, if you're going to be wearing this for a long time, go right ahead. So instead of caking this on, I'm going to put it on in very thin layers. I'm just highlighting, as you can see, across the high points of my face because Angelica Houston has this incredible bone structure, really, really sharp cheekbones and very wide and high across here. So I'm trying to mimic that. Powder my face a little bit to set this up. We do want a very matte finish because she is very matte. So for my eyebrows, I'm going to use black, and I'm going to use a fine angled brush and very, very carefully. I've left, as you can see, I've left the beginning part of my brows, and I'm just going to start mapping out where I want them to go. Very, very, so they're arched very high, and then they thin out quite considerably. So what I'm doing is getting up some black on my brush, and then I am just taking off some of it on the back of my hand. This way it might take a little longer to fill the eyebrows in, but you're less likely to make mistakes. Eyebrows are done. Now comes what I think is going to be the most fun part, which is doing the eyes. Now she has very high crease. Her crease is cut very high, I should say, and the shadow is winged backwards. It's not really a cat wing liner. The original Morticia Addams did have much more of a cat wing and not so much eyeshadow on. The Angelica Houston version has a little bit more eyeshadow going on, and it's all matte. So I'm going to use my Coastal Scents 88 Warm palette, which looks like this. And I'm going to go in with colors like this one. This is kind of a beigey, peachy yellow, and then one that's a little bit pinker. I'm not going to go all the way across my lid, only because I'm going to put black there. And already you can see I'm starting to get some kind of shape going on in here. So now I'm going to go in with a gray. I'm going to use this color right here. And I'm using a pencil brush, getting it up in there, tapping it off. And I am going to find, now I'm going from the top of my crease, so you can imagine the whole crease. I'm going slightly above, I'm not going in the actual deepest part of the crease, if that makes any sense. So once I get that on, I'm just going to blend it a little bit. And then I'm going to use a flat shader brush like this and a white eyeshadow and pack it under there. This is going to give the illusion of your eyelid space being much bigger and your eye in your eye socket, your crease being much higher. Carry it quite far in the inner corners of the eye, like on the sides of my nose. That's also going to give the illusion of having a deeper eye socket. So I'm going to go back in with the same angled brush, a little bit of black, and just along the bottom of that gray that we just put down, I'm going to just carve it out and make it a little bit crisper. Very little, same technique, getting it up on the brush, wiping it off on my hand. So now I'm just going to start packing on the black. I'm going to use this brush. This is by e.l.f. and it's just a short, compacted kind of brush. It's going to help me get on a nice thick layer of black. So once again, to avoid fallout, because we already have on our foundation, take it up on my brush, tap it off on my hand, and what I'm doing by tapping it is I'm pushing more product into the bristles of the brush, less fallout. And I'm going to just start tapping that onto this part of it. And it's going to be in a very exaggerated sort of wing shape. Blend over it with my fluffy brush again. I'm going to blend this way first. Dust off this brush on my wrist or on my hand or on a tissue, just to get rid of any excess, and I'm going to start to pull this shadow up and out. If it feels like it's taking forever, don't worry, that's what's going to give us a really nice, smooth, even blend upwards. We'll add a little bit more product in a bit, but we want it to be nice and smooth. Very high. I'm not going below this part because her eyes are very lifted and drawn outwards. When I'm blending in the crease, it's important to note I'm not actually going in here where we've made it nice and crisp. And so now with my angled brush again, I actually haven't picked up any more product on it because I'm fairly sure there's still some left there. And there is. Just fill in anything more that needs to be filled in so that it's not patchy looking. I'm going to take a smaller brush. This is also a little bit fluffy. Pick up a gray, and it looks like that. And I'm just going to use that right along the edges of where the black meets the white. Just go in with a tiny little white underneath. So I'm just going to take that along my lash line, my lower lash line, quite tightly. So I'm going to put on a little bit of concealer under my eyes. I'm using this neutralizer color because it's quite light. Okay, so now we're going to line the eyes. I'm going to line the eyes. I'm just going to use my Physicians Formula. You can use gel. And this is going to we want to elongate the eyes even more. So I'm going to start out here. And then just it's not a long wing, like I said before. I am going to use color like this, which is a very neutral medium brown, and I'm going to use it very, very carefully. So normally I contour my cheekbones and I round them because I do have quite a long face, and when I do straight down, it elongates my face even more. Today I'm going to go long. So I'm just taking it up on my brush, very, very little, and I'm going to start doing this. I'll add a little bit of gray afterwards if I feel like I need it, but I just might not. So I am purposely not starting at my cheekbone, which is here. I'm starting a little higher and coming straight down. It's kind of similar to what we did for Melisandre. Angelica Houston has a very square and long face and incredible cheekbones, which is what made her, you know, just try to mimic that squareness of Angelica Houston's jaw by coming down a little bit there. And I'm also going to contour the nose because she has a very, very sharp nose. I could use a smaller brush for this actually, which I will do. I have the barest amount of this, you can't even see it. Best thing to do when you're doing this kind of carving out of the cheekbones is to try to look straight ahead into your mirror. You know, the impulse is to turn so you can see what you're doing. Best to look into the mirror and make sure that you're getting it even. Not going to put on any blush because, of course, being the goth queen, she doesn't have on any blush. So now, of course, the last thing to do is the lips, and Morticia has very red lips. She's known for her blood red lips. So first I'm going to line my lips. Now, her mouth is pretty small, pinched purposely, and it is quite sharp. So it's a sharp point on the Cupid's bow. So before I fill that in, I'm going to go in with a little bit of concealer and a very, very, very fine brush. I'm using the same yellow neutralizer concealer that I've been using. And I'm just going to crisp up that line and hide a little bit of the darkness of my own natural lip line. And then I'm going to just use a red lipstick. Now, her lipstick usually is very matte, so I'm going to blot. I have this beautiful 40-inch wig that was loaned to me by a friend, so thank you, Shani. Guys, there's my finished Morticia Addams. The wig isn't exactly right because she actually doesn't have a part in the center of her forehead. That's more Wednesday Addams, but this is the only wig we had, so you make it work. And there's hair everywhere. This wig is also 40 inches long, so I would suggest if you are going to cosplay this, don't go for such a long wig because it is very, very difficult to keep it from tangling, and Morticia's hair is usually perfectly straight, flawless, even, you know, it's never tangled, it's never fuzzy. And this is a little bit too long for that, but that's okay, you know, if that's what you have, go for it. And if you can get away with wearing it, good luck, because so yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this little surprise AnimeKon caricature file, and so look out tomorrow for the very next one, which is the last one. It's going to be fantastic. I'm really, really super happy with how it came out. And again, thank you guys so much for entering all the contests to pick people to make into characters. We're going to be doing this again next year, so don't worry about it. And yeah, I will see you all in another video. Bye.